Hello, whoever is watching. This is Daniel, aka Suksu, participating in the Quantum Game Jam 2017, December, and I'll be showcasing my solo project Zenoarcher, which is based on the third theme in the jam, which was the Quantum Zeno Effect, which is effect that happens when you observe the transition of an atom of a particle from state 1 into another state, and if you plot it as a function of time, you see the probability following a kind of a sigmoidal curve, and the probability of going to the other state will increase if the particle is left untouched. And based on this idea that by actually making an observation you can interfere with the probability of observing a transition in a particle, I had two ideas or kind of comparison points. One was Flappy Bird, and the other one was a very old game called I think it was called Bow and Arrow or something like that in Windows when I was a child, somewhere in 90s, where you had a archer on the left side of the screen and balloons going up in the right side of the screen. So it was a skill-based game where you shoot arrows to break those balloons and whatnot. So in Zenoarcher you make pulses and you will affect the arrow. And every time you make a pulse, which is kind of an analogy of making an observation to a quantum particle, so we might be thinking of our arrow as a quantum particle in this case, and the y-axis as the probability, and time as the x-axis. And then we have some sort of outcome that we're wishing for, which is the target. So we can affect multiple factors in this game, and we can set the arrow to a different altitude. We can make the target closer or bring it closer or put it further away, and then we can also adjust its height where it's located. And if I don't touch the arrow at all, it will just be dragged down by gravity and I will miss the target. But if I keep giving it pulses, it resets the y-axis vector that is dragging it downwards, so the velocity towards the ground is resetted. And then a high score is given. Based on the less pulses you use and the more score you will get. It takes the square root of the pulses. The closer you hit to the bullseye, the better hit score you will get. And then also based on your setup, how difficult your setup is, you get a multiplier and then you get your final score. So it encourages the player to set the game, for example, so that there's a very long distance, and you can also make the target a movable target, either linear, where it's more easy to predict, or you can actually make it non-linear, where it changes speed every time it kind of reaches the boundaries of where it's able to go, so making it much harder to predict where it will be as your arrow will be hitting there. So let's see if I can even hit this one. Yeah, I got a pretty good hit, given that it's really hard to predict this nonlinear movement of the target. So I used 11 pulses over the course of shooting the arrow. I got a decent score, and the difficulty multiplier is pretty good because I'm using a long distance, I'm using nonlinear movement, and my bow is located in the middle section of the altitude. So I got a score of 200. Let's see if I can beat that quickly. So I'm gonna use a linear movement. Actually, yeah, no. And maybe even, yeah, I have my long distance. Maybe put my arrow to the very bottom and see if I can, just by using a lot of pulses. I'm not able to beat my previous score, so maybe I'll actually put it over here. Now I'm gonna miss. Well, it just barely hit the flank of the target. Just not being able to beat my previous score, being bad at my own game. I managed to make a score of like 2000 or something like that. at best. If you really hit the bullseye, it gives you a high score. 48 over here. I should be waiting. I should be timing my shots much better. So waiting for the target to go much lower. Now it's looking promising. And there we have a score of 300. It's not too great, but I could still be practicing more. But I don't think I should be boring you with that. So I'll try to get a decent score to shut down this video. A score of 48 is not good enough for me. So let's try hit the bullseye. Well, I managed to do a decent score. I would have wanted to end up in 1000 in this demo video, but too bad. Unfortunately, I don't think this is going to be a kind of a very useful research tool for quantum physics, but it's my first game jam ever. Although I have previous experience with, let's say, Unity and so forth. It's a solo project and I'm pretty happy with it, so here it is. I'll be putting it up in itch and hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.